Rob, don't know if you knew this,
Uh-oh.
but in Endgame, there's this little scene where the camera pans and they call it A-Force.
Yes.
I'm sure you're familiar with it. When they got
it gets me hot.
all the female Avengers characters rally in one point and go booting off. Now, was that shot a bit of a gimmick? Of course it was. But there were about a dozen shots. It's particularly in that final act of Endgame that were just gimmicks, set up to get big pop reaction. But I'll tell you what, every time I saw that movie in theaters, when that shot happened, theater went crazy. Particularly the female audience went crazy. They loved it. Anyway, ever since then, there's been a lot of discussion about there being an all-female MCU movie, like a big female team-up movie. And that's been floating around for a while. We know Kevin Feige has been talking about that they might be looking and going in a direction like that, doing something like that. Well, anyway, there was a recent Variety event and honoring, some of the big names in females in entertainment right now. And part of that was Brie Larson. And the interviewer asked Brie Larson during the sit-down interview at her Power of Women cover shoot, Captain Marvel herself was asked if the female film has been truly discussed by the Marvel brass. It is something, she said with a pause and adding, well, what do you mean truly discussed? Larson was speaking to Variety senior correspondent Elizabeth Wagmeister, who followed up with, you tell me. And then this is what Brie Larson said. I will say that a lot of the female cast members from Marvel walked up to Kevin as we were like, we are all in this together. We want to do this. Larson replied, what that means, I have no idea. I'm not in charge of the future of Marvel, but it is something that we are really passionate about and we love. And I feel like if enough people out in the world want it, then maybe it'll happen. Now, Kevin Feige has himself spoken about this, and he said this is definitely a direction we're looking at and we'd like to do something like this. My feelings on that is this. In a world where we had, it might be 20, I'm going to say 21, it might be 1 or 2 off. In a world that we had 21 Marvel MCU films in a row with male leads. That's significant. We had 21 MCU films in a row that were all male leads. I have no right to complain about the idea about doing one where they do an all-female team-up. I mean, we've got the Disney Plus shows coming, and they've got a team-up show. Winter Soldier and Falcon and Winter Soldier. Why not call it Falcon, Winter Soldier, and Agent, whatever her name is from the other ones, Sharon's daughter or niece. Agent, what's her name again? Agent.
You know what? I'm drawing a blank.
Yeah, the
right
one
now.
that kisses Captain. Yeah. I'm forgetting her name. But anyway, she's a star. Why not call it? Why not say Falcon, Winter Soldier, and that? Well, it doesn't matter. It's a gimmick. It doesn't matter. So look, all I know is that sometimes shtick and gimmick are not automatically bad things. We say this all the time. It depends on how they're used, like a lot of other things. Shtick and gimmick can only be drawn out so long, but they can be effective and do something cool. People like seeing Jason and Freddy in a movie together. That's just shtick. That's just gimmick, but a lot of people enjoyed that they did that. Having King Kong and Godzilla in a movie together, that's just shtick. That's just gimmick.
Freddy versus Jason.
I just said that.
I mean, I just loved Freddy versus Jason.
Right. And
everybody loved it.
Yeah. I mean, you can't do a 10-part series of Freddy versus Jason. I think like
they haven't done enough. I mean, they only did one.
They only did one. You might be able to do a second one. So look, from my perspective of being in the theaters and seeing the pop that scene got, why not make that movie? I mean, we're talking about one movie. We're not talking about anything else. Why not make, in a world where 21 MCU films in a row were all male leads, why not do a movie where you have an all-female team up? I don't see the problem with it.
First of all, how is this a gimmick? I mean, John, since I started watching Star Trek as a young 6-year-old boy, one thing I learned very quickly, I liked girls. I really liked girls because in Star Trek, the original series, there were a lot of very attractive, very smart, very capable women characters. I would love to see a team-up movie. Think of it as Set It Off meets Thelma and Louise. Throw in some Bridesmaids if you want. I mean, you could put that together and it could be a kick-ass film. All of those women in those superheroes, let's face it, their costumes, they look great. And I love team-up movies like that. Like we talked Freddy versus Jason. But what about things like Alien versus Predator? Abbott and Costello meet the Frankenstein. I mean,
right.
This is an old school thing, and I don't think it has to be a gimmick. I mean, you've got a team of very capable women characters, all with very different powers. It would be really interesting to see them interact. What kind of, maybe there's tension on the team. Maybe two of them don't like each other. I mean, you make it like instead of a man on a mission World War II movie, it's a woman on a mission movie, like Where Eagles Dare or The Dirty Dozen. I mean, think about it. Think about if you had The Dirty Dozen, which I loved growing up, if that was a superheroine movie where you had a dozen female crack superheroines that have to save the universe, and each one has a part to play. Who wouldn't want to see that? I mean, it could be great.
Yeah, I'm a little bit in the middle on this in the sense that, look, if you came to me with a random assortment of guy characters, like, hey, we're going to do an Ant-Man, Spider-Man, Hawkeye, Vision, and whatever team-up movie, I'd be okay. A little gimmicky, but all right. And I don't see any problem with it doing it with the female characters either. I just don't see any problem with it. And like in a world, in an MCU now that has a lot of male characters and a lot of female characters, putting together any assortment of them that are all just one gender, that's where the shtick of it comes into me. It's like, really, you're going to get like 7 characters together and they're all going to be male? Or you're going to get 7 characters together and they're going to all be female? Okay, there's clearly a little bit of gimmick in there. But I'm okay with gimmick.
Yeah.
I'm okay with gimmick if you use it the right way. And again, from a business point of view, that scene always got a lot of pop in the theaters. I think it would get an audience. I think it would get a big audience. So I don't see why not try it. The movie may suck or it might be awesome. I mean, who knows?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think that there's something to be said. Like, I want to know, what is it like to be, men and women are different. We're different. We're not the same. We're not the same, John. We have different experiences of the world. I think it would be very interesting to see a superhero film from essentially a feminine perspective, if that was part of the actual reason that the movie existed. You know, what if like it was just like a girls' night out? Like these girls, like they're going to a dinner party. They're going to have an Avengers adjacent dinner party. All the girls are going out just to chat, and some world destroying event happens in the middle of this party, interrupting the party. Kind of like when Ultron shows up. I've always said, make the Avengers dinner party movie like we saw in Ultron, but do it for a whole film. I've been saying that for a long time. What if that were to happen? Ultron shows up, or something like that. Galactus shows up, and these girls are the only people around. Like the Enterprise is the only ship in the quadrant. The Avengers, these female superheroines, just happen to be the only people on hand, and they have to save the world or the universe. What's wrong with that? It'd be great.
CW did an episode of that. I think it was before Flash's wedding. I think it was for Flash's wedding. Anyway, there was a bridal shower, girls' night out sort of thing where they got all the big female characters from the CW shows together to go out for a night out, and something happened at the dinner thing. So maybe, I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of different ways to go with it. All I know is that in principle, again, for me, 21 movies in a row, all male leads. I'm okay if you want to do an all-female thing, crack it out. Why not? Take a shot at it. It might be great, it might be terrible, who knows?
It might mean ultimately we get more female Hot Toys action figures.
Well, and that's anything that gives Robert Meyer Burnett more Hot Toys action figures is never a bad thing. Guys,
that's correct.
Question is, how do you feel about this? I mean, like, I'm saying it's kind of gimmick and shtick. Do you not think that? Do you think it's just a brilliant idea? Do you think, it's okay, well, let's give it a shot? Or are you totally against it? What do you think about the whole notion? Kevin Feige seems to be kind of serious about it. Jump down in the comments section below and let us know your thoughts.